Errol Spence and Terence Crawford's negotiations might just be getting started real soon, and we're going to talk about it right here on Gym Boxing. Top-ranked CEO Bob Arum, who promotes WBO welterweight champion Terence "Bud" Crawford, is planning to do everything that is possible to make a unification with IBF world champion Errol Spence. Spence was in his last month fight with Mikey Garcia when he dominated the 4-division world champion over a 12-round fight at AT&T Arena. What up, fight fans? Boxing family, this your boy Get a Mic. This Gym Boxing. To all my subscribers, welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, I invite you to subscribe and hit that bell icon. Now we got more Bob Arum shit, you know what I'm saying? He's talking some more shit, so we're gonna see what Bob Arum talking about. We're gonna give our thoughts about it. Crawford is getting back in the ring on April 20th when he will defend his title against Amir Khan at Madison Square Garden. Now, should Crawford win next Saturday night, Bob Arum is planning to call Al Haymon, okay, who is actually, you know, that's the Premier Boxing Champions leader. That's the godfather of boxing, is what everybody like to call him. He guides the career of Errol Spence, okay. Al Haymon has numerous welterweights under his stable, including WBC champion Shawn Porter, WBA champion Keith Thurman, and 8-division world champion Manny Pacquiao, Danny Garcia, and several others. So it seems like Al Haymon has the bulk of the welterweight division on lock, and it seems like Terence Crawford and Bob Arum, if they're gonna have to get some type of fights made, some type of big legacy fights made for Terence Crawford, they're gonna have to call Al Haymon, because Al Haymon is where all the welterweights is at. But Bob Arum definitely does view Errol Spence as the main opponent for Crawford's legacy at the weight, and this is what he went on to say. He says they have one fighter, Errol Spence. He says, "There's no doubt in my mind that Errol Spence wants to fight as much as Terence Crawford wants it. So, if Crawford wins, I'll call Al Haymon and work to sit down and make the fight. It's not rocket science that this has to happen. We can sit down and make the fight in one day, just like we did for Mayweather versus Pacquiao. If a promoter blocks that fight, he ought to be ashamed." All right, so those are the words of Bob Arum. I'm gonna give my thoughts on it. You know, I'm a little bit skeptical, but I'm gonna give my thoughts on the whole situation. And you know, I still believe this fight is actually gonna happen at some point in the future. But I think there's still things that's gonna get in the way of this. But we'll see. In 2015, Arum and Haymon sat down to finalize the most lucrative fight in combat sports history. This is when Mayweather versus Pacquiao came together and did that super fight. But you know, it was a joint venture, you know what I'm saying, and it was rival cable networks. It was HBO and Showtime that had to also come together that make things tough. Arum is hoping for a similar type situation since Crawford is aligned with ESPN and Spence is backed by Showtime and Fox Sports, so a joint pay-per-view venture will be necessary to make this fight a reality. And you know, it seems to me that the reason why Bob Arum wants this fight, okay, now he knows and understands that there's not too many options for Terence Crawford to fight as far as you know, notable names at the welterweight division under Top Rank. You know, that fight's on ESPN. There's not a lot of options for him to make things happen over there on Top Rank. So what he's gonna have to do is, you know, he's worked with Al Haymon in the past, maybe multiple times, but most notably when it was the, you know, Pacquiao Mayweather. But it doesn't seem like he likes to do that unless it's absolutely necessary, unless the fight is absolutely big enough. So he's not just going to be shopping Terence Crawford around, making him, you know, negotiating with Al Haymon over, you know, over any old basic fight, because, you know, Bob Arum likes to keep everything in-house, you know what I'm saying? That way he can, you know, reap the benefits of the income. He doesn't like to share that like that, you know, as far as the business moves go. But so with that being said, with this fight, it seems like after, you know, Terence Crawford faces off and shares the square circle with Amir Khan, you know, it's not really going to be much fighters for him after this. And, you know, Terence Crawford He's definitely in his prime. He's peaking out, and you know, he's gonna start at some point looking at the backside of his career. So it seems like now they're trying to you know, quickly make a move to see if they can't get that legacy fight for Terence Crawford. And especially after Errol Spence just had an extremely successful pay-per-view. It's looking real good on Errol Spence's part. He's making a lot of money. His fan base is growing expeditiously, and you know, he looks like he has more brighter things on the horizon, you know, coming up soon. You know, you got Sean Porter over here, there's Manny Pacquiao over here, there's Danny Garcia over here, there's all types of welterweights that he can fight that's with the PBC and now Heyman. So it seems like now, you know, since Errol Spence has all these different options and different ways he can go, it seems like now, you know, Bob Arum is going to try to make that fight, you know, now that it's about that time. And now my personal opinion is a lot of people, not that many people, but there's a few people out there, Terence Crawford fans and stuff like that, that will say that Errol Spence Jr. is ducking Terence Crawford because they call Errol Spence Jr. the boogeyman. And, you know, they say things like, how can you be the boogeyman when Terence Crawford is chasing you, right? But I've always said in my other videos that if Terence Crawford really wanted that fight, he knew how tough it would have been to make that fight with Errol Spence, you know, being that he's signed with Top Rank, and he know that's going to be a tough thing to make. Bob Arum is not making just any old fight, you know, with the PBC like that. It has to be a super fight. We understand that. So obviously there's some money aspirations that has a lot to do with it when it comes to Terence Crawford and why he re-signed with Top Rank. But now, you know, Errol Spence just seems like he has just so many options, and I'm not too sure that this fight is going to get done next, or anytime next. You know what I'm saying? Because Terence Crawford in Top Rank seems as though they need Errol Spence a whole lot more than Errol Spence needs him. Okay, so I believe that Errol Spence wants that fight. I believe that I'm sure that'll be a big legacy fight for Errol Spence, just as it will be for Terence Crawford. But at the same time, you know, there's so many other options for Errol Spence that he won't be considered cherry picking. You know, there's multiple other champions and legends that he can face, and the fans will be just fine with it. So I think I don't know this for sure, but I got a feeling that, you know, Al Heyman is gonna try and, you know, match Spence up with some other champions and some other big names. You know what I'm saying? To, you know, possibly get him more belts and possibly get him more notoriety and more negotiating leverage. So, you know what I'm saying, I don't really see the fact that Bob Arum is talking about sitting down with Al Heyman to make the fight happen soon. Just because he's saying that, I don't necessarily believe that that's what's is going to be a successful fight made anytime soon. You know what I'm saying? I don't. And a lot of people also say things like when Terence Crawford and Errol Spence faced off, and I think they was at another fight or something, at an event somewhere, and, you know, they was basically arguing back and forth about, you know, who wants to fight, who pulled up on who. You know what I'm saying? They were talking about each other's weight. Y'all remember that video. But, you know, Errol Spence came out and said something like along the lines of, you know, why wouldn't I come out and take the easy route and fight Sean Porter? And a lot of people took that as, you know, Errol Spence is ducking. You know, he's trying to take the easy route because he said that out of his own mouth. But I think a lot of people don't understand that when Errol Spence was talking about the whole easy route situation, he wasn't necessarily talking about just skill level. Okay, he wasn't saying, why don't I go take the easier fighter to face. That I don't think that at all that's what he was talking about. I think what he was saying when he said the easy route, he was talking more along the lines of easier to get the fight done. Okay, and how you you know, line that up or precept that with another situation is when Errol Spence jumped up in the ring with Sean Porter. And Sean Porter obviously said it right out of his mouth. This is going to be the easiest fight to make. So Errol Spence wasn't saying this is going to be the easier opponent out of the two. That's not what he was saying at all. So a lot of people say, oh, he said it out of his own mouth. He's trying to take the easy route. But we got to really look at what was said in the context of what was being said. And also we got to use other areas of interviews and things that they're saying so that you can get the full context of what was being said. But that's just my thoughts, man. Bob Arum said they're going to sit down, make the fight happen next. We will see in the upcoming months to see exactly who Errol Spence fights next. and we'll see after Terence Crawford, you know, fights Amir Khan, if he can get the win. We'll see if they'll try to see if they can make that fight with Spence, man. But y'all let me know y'all thoughts down in the comment section. This your boy Get a Mic. This Gym Boxing. Much love, peace, blessings to all the brothers and sisters, and I'll be back with much more content. Peace. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more consistent content like this on the channel, I got a PayPal link in the description. You can donate any amount of money that you feel will help the growth of this channel. I really appreciate it. Much love to all the brothers and sisters out there that support Gym Boxing.